Two. Check. Check two. Check. I really like, I mean, I don't always greet you all like this, but I really do like greeting you like I'm a James Bond villain. Like you just walked into the main room and I'm like waiting for you in the swiveling chair. Well, chat. I never could have predicted that you'd be in this room at this exact moment. I'm always 5 steps ahead. I've the spin, yeah, like with the, yeah, like a thing, like a. Something like that. I don't have a lot of space to work with here. I don't have a ton of space to work with, so I can't do the bit exactly like how it should be, but you get the idea. You folks get the idea. Need the cat. Yeah, that would help as well. That would help as well. Happy Hillary's birthday to everyone, to all who celebrate, especially Cinnamon Challenge. I know Cinnamon Challenge was up early today, lighting a candle by the Hillary Clinton shrine, and just saying a few quick words of encouragement on our girl's birthday. Still with her, folks. Still with her. That's the motto of this very stream. You all know this. Everyone knows this. By the way, thank you, Dave Legend. Actually attending our Satanic Nature Festival tonight. Oh, very good. Very good. Thank you, Dave Legend, for the 1 entire year of Tier 1. Thank you, Dave. And thank you, Gigi Allen Dulles, for the 10 months of Tier 1. Thank you, Gigi Allen Dulles, as well. She could still win if you voted for her. If you're still stay in line. If you haven't voted, if you're not still with her, then stay in line. Happy birthday to that future president. Right. I did just get a rug. I don't know if anyone's in the Discord server saw this, but I did just have a rug delivered. So I have my rug now. I think it's like, it needs to settle or something. It's not like a real like Persian thing, which would be really expensive. Obviously that has like weight, you know, it has like a weight to it. It's a little flimsy. It's like that Persian style, but it's a little flimsy. So I think it needs to like settle. It's like kind of lumpy. It was all rolled up and it's all lumpy. I think I probably got to stick it to the floor with some double-sided tape or something as well. It looks good though. It looks good. It is indeed going to tie the room together. It do be like that. HDA, what's this exciting development you mentioned? What's this exciting development you're talking about? Oh, Jesus Christ. That's not cool. That's not cool. On today of all days, on my special rug day. On my special rug day, this is what we're doing. You know, I didn't go around and message the Twitch mods and call customer service to get them to ban this emote for nothing. You know, my time is valuable. My time is valuable. And when I go out on a campaign to ensure single-handedly that the Left Flank Vets Candy Liquor emote is banned from Twitch, and I call in every favor that I have as a big-time Twitch celebrity, As a big-time Twitch celeb, I call in every favor that I have with headquarters to get this thing banned. And this is how they bring it right back. This is how I'm treated at this by the Twitch Corporation, the Amazon Corporation. Twitch Central HQ. Praxid, big time Dragon Show enjoyer. Absolutely. Big time Dragon Show enjoyer. I really told myself I was not going to get sucked back into the dragon bullshit. I tweeted about this over the weekend. I really told, or over this, whenever this was. I don't know when this is. I was really like 3-4 months ago. I was like, absolutely not. Of course, I'm going to watch the show just to like see what it's all about. Of course. But no, I'm not going to let my guard down. No, I'm not going to be sucked back into the dragon bullshit. I've been hurt before. I'm not going to be watching any of it. And now I'm just like, I'm just 100% fully back into it. I ordered the book now because now I can't wait the 2 years. Now I can't wait the 2 years after the finale. I can't wait the fucking 2 years for season 2 to come out. So I purchased the goddamn book, The Fire and Blood Targaryen History by George R.R. Martin. That he should have been working on Winds of... I love George. Listen, and I understand procrastination more than anyone. I understand not finishing a big massive project you've been working on while millions of people and hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake and everyone's mad at you. I completely get just not doing it. I completely get it. I would probably not do it either if I was him. But frankly, when he was working on this Fire and Blood business, he could have been working on Winds of Winter, which is apparently 3/4 finished. Yeah, the book is just not as good as the show. Now we got Tyrell saying it's actually a very fun read. I know it's not like one of the books. It's more of like, yeah, it's like a history. It's like a history scroll, a Westerosi history scroll. But I don't know if I should spoil myself on the story. I would just like to watch the show and be taken in by all the ups and downs and surprises and stuff, but I can't wait now. I can't wait. I'm not consuming any more Game of Thrones until he finishes Winds of Winter. Stu, the Dragon Show is so good, though. It's so good. I'm sorry to say. I had very low expectations. And I got fully pulled back into it. And the finale was really good. I need my stories! It just doesn't tickle my imagination the way the novels do. It's too dry. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. I know it's not like an actual, fiction book, fantasy that we're used to reading.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
My wife refers to it as the incest slutty dragon show, and she hates high fantasy. I mean, that's a pretty accurate way of looking at it. They should all have Habsburg chin, so inbred. I mean, they do be looking pretty fucked up, some of those Targaryens. Especially King Viserys, who I'm a big supporter of. Big supporter of King Viserys. He was not looking good by the end of the series, though. He was not looking good. Hi, everybody. If you North Americans already left summertime, not at all, Comrade Social Distancing. It's like 22 degrees right now. It feels like summertime right now. I'm wearing shorts. Sikalufakis, thank you for the 11 months of Prime. Thank you. Putting Matt Smith in the show and the clip of the big ass dragon are making it hard to resist. Stu, come on, just give in. Come on, quit fucking kidding yourself, Stu. He may never finish Winds of Winter. You know that, right? He may just never finish it. Stop lying to yourself, Stu. Stop lying to me. Stop lying to the community. And most importantly, stop lying to yourself. Watch the fucking show. Okay? Come on. I'm absolutely loving this dragon bullshit discourse. I'm glad, Tyrell. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, of course, we love the sinister, the creepy, unseasonable warmth. Nothing at all sinister. foreboding about it being so warm. No, it's literally like summertime right now. Who's your favorite character in the Game of Thrones series? You know, Dimitri, I was always a big Robert Baratheon supporter. You know, we talked about our houses the other week, and I think we settled on me as a possible Baratheon. Now I'm not so sure. I'm starting to second guess this. I think certain things in House of the Dragon, especially that happened in the finale, has made me reevaluate some of the decision making that's been coming from House Baratheon, both during the Dance of Dragons and, frankly, in Robert's Rebellion. And I know that the Mad King made mistakes. Certainly, no one would deny that. No one would deny that the Mad King made some serious mistakes, did some fucked up stuff.
This is some guy, Rob Russo,
Okay?
some
No one
leftist
would
based in
deny
Canada.
this.
I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Dimitri, thank you for the gifted tier 1 sub, and thank you, Mark Monkey, for the raid. I appreciate that, Mark. Welcome, Raiders.
You can count on
Bring
me
it on in
and
here.
have good old
Thank you.
Rob to talk you through all this.
Mistakes were made, but we can't just go revolting. And here's the question. Here's the question for you, chat. Was Robert Baratheon's rebellion, was it based on some principled stance about overthrowing this, like, you know, decaying hereditary monarchy, being headed by this kind of monstrous figure out there torturing and killing people that he shouldn't have been doing? Was it based on some principled stance, or was it merely a personal difference? Was Robert Baratheon's precious little ego so damaged by the fact that Lyanna Stark wanted to create a long prophesied baby with heir to the throne, Rhaegar Targaryen? And did he use this? His precious little ego was so hurt by this that they made up this big story about a kidnapping, and then he turns it into some big, some principled, like, moral thing. Robert, was that what happened? Robert Baratheon, I don't know. I mean, Eddard was pretty legitimately pissed about his sister being kidnapped. So I think he believed this kidnapping story, Eddard, because he wanted to believe it. Because believing that the story was different would have made him have to reevaluate all kinds of things about his family. You know, and he went along with his buddy Robert Baratheon. You know, his buddy Robert, who was like, we're having a war. And Ned was like, all right, I guess so. And his dad and his brother were just killed as well. So he had a big personal stake in it. Right? He had a big personal stake because the Mad King had just, like, horribly killed his own father and his older brother. Right? So he has a moral stake in hand as well. So everyone loves this discourse. I'm all the way back into it, as you can see. He's in deep. That's right. And then after certain actions that took place in the House of the Dragon finale, I don't want to get into the spoilers, certain actions that were taken at Storm's End by the previous Baratheon lord, or the Robert's, I guess, grandfather or great-grandfather. I'm starting to question some of the motives of this family, okay? The Baratheon family. I don't know, folks. It's officially a Game of Thrones stream, that's right. I wonder if I could do numbers. Also, this is what I'm talking about, Sean. Robert heroically killed someone described as a great and wonderful man. Rhaegar, not Vagar. Come on, Sean. Come on. We're not going to disrespect Rhaegar Targaryen like this, all right? Jesus. And even though, like I was saying, even though the Mad King had made mistakes, Rhaegar was being groomed to take over who would have been a wonderful ruler of Westeros, frankly. You know? So it's not to condone anything that happened, right? It's not to condone anything that happened with the Mad King and any of the things he may or may not have done. But I'm simply, I posit to you, chat. I posit to you. Was Robert's Rebellion really based in this moral stance about what happened to the previous Lord of Winterfell, and what happened with Lyanna Stark and Rhaegar? Remember, they were only there at King's Landing in the first place. Was it Rickon? I can't remember the Stark, the father figure. They were only there at King's Landing in the first place, petitioning the king about this situation that had happened with Rhaegar, the king's son, and Lyanna, Lord Stark's daughter, right? Which was being framed as this like kidnapping, which, as we all know, is not accurate, right? So if they had just minded their own business and let Lyanna Stark go off with whoever, like, she's allowed to make her own decisions, is she not? She's allowed to make her own decisions. If they had just allowed Lyanna Stark to go off with Rhaegar, if that's what she wanted to do, they wouldn't have been at King's Landing in the first place, which led to the Mad King horribly killing the Starks, which led to this whole civil war breaking out. Another lesson in when doing nothing is the best choice is what I mean. What I'm talking about. I don't think she's allowed to make her own decisions. Damn, Red Scary. Damn.
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
You lived your life for the king. You're going to die for some chickens. Some is. Sandor's the best. He is pretty great. Thank you, Dimitri. Thank you. Cannot believe Rob let himself get duped into watching the new Dragon show. Red Scary, you should watch it. And so Dakadoon and all these holdouts. Just give in. Stu. Give in, watch the Dragon show, and let's talk about this nerdy shit again, okay? Red Scary, also congratulations on dodging COVID. Congratulations on dodging Outrun, aka Marty, his COVID bacterias that he's spewing all over the place. You go to do a special TRRS meetup with the Outrun and Clueless household. You get exposed to all these deadly illnesses. I'll be not watching the Dragon show and enjoying the new interview with the Vampire show. I demand people watch the Dragon show, especially Starlight. I wasted so much time reading.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
But that's what I mean, Dakadoon. It's fun. We can do it again. We can have that again. Thank you, Zach. Zach, thank you so much for the raid. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Zach. Welcome, Raiders. Bring it in here. Bring it on in, Raiders. I'm Rob. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. What question to you, chat, and to the Zach Raiders? What do you make of the new Dragon show? Are you in or out? Are you in or out on the new Dragon show? I'm all the way back in. I'm getting sucked. I'm talking about lore here. I'm talking about Westerosi lore, theories. Get in here. It's so good. Hell yeah, Tex. Way back in. Thank you, Maxi. Relic in. Rereading the books now. I did pick up the original book. I don't know if I'm ready to reread, but I did pick up the original one. Amazing Bird Show. You gotta keep up with it. I'm up on that lore again. Absolutely. House of the Dragon, very good. Haven't seen Game of Thrones yet. I'm going to Chrono. That's interesting. That's an interesting strategy. I'm in on the Dragon show. They need to drop the incest sex scenes though. You know what? They could do less of those, Marcus. I agree. You know what? I'm hoping, my sincere hope for Dragon show season 2 is, please no more painful miscarriage scenes. That would be my one comment, really. I would like to if I go my whole life without seeing another horrific miscarriage scene, I will have no problem with that. I would like to have less of those, definitely. That would be my main comment. They can't do a Targaryen show without incest. That's like their whole thing. Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, it's like you kind of, if you're gonna watch a show about the Targaryens, you're gonna just, you have to go into that knowing you're gonna see some weird shit. Okay, I mean that's just part of it. That's part of their whole job. You don't have to show it. We get it. I waited for the last season of Game of Thrones and watched it all in 2 or 3 sittings. I might have to do the same and wait. It's going to be a long wait, though. I don't think season 2 is happening for like 2 years. I'm too sweet to watch the Dragon Show. Only want to watch sweeties be sweet on TV and also elves. I've been trying to watch the Rings of Power. I can't compare, like, regardless of whatever qualms we might have about the weird shit that's on the Dragon Show. You watch that, you see all the political intrigue and all the weird high drama and fucked up shit going on, and then you watch Rings of Power, and it's just like boring. Boring. I do like the look of it. I mean, it looks tremendous. You can see where they spent $1 billion on it. I will not be listening to Lord of the Rings slander, and I don't watch Rings of Power at all. That's scary. I love Lord of the Rings. I love it. I love it. I saw every Lord of the Rings movie in the theater when it came out. I have it on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. Love the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Okay? Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings trilogy, one of the great achievements in modern filmmaking. Let's not get it twisted. Let's not get it twisted here, okay? Who do you think you're fucking talking to? Rings of Power is like the Disney Plus version of House of the Dragon. Yeah, that's one way of putting it. Yeah. The best show with political themes is still Battlestar Galactica. I love some Battlestar as well. Another show that didn't end all that well, but I didn't hate the ending of it as much as I hated the ending of some other similar shows. Okay, good. Just checking. I know there's some Lord of the Rings haters in here, aka Marty. We don't need to, like, listen, I love Marty, aka Outrun, okay? I love the guy. We don't need to accept his opinions about films or books or any kind of like works like that. We can just safely disregard. And I know he's sick with COVID right now.
Me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I don't know if he's sick with COVID. I know he's sick with COVID right now. I don't know if he's listening. We don't need to listen to his opinions about these things, though. Okay? A lot of the time, he's just saying things specifically to upset us, and we have to understand that. Netlocked. Oh my goodness, Netlocked. Thank you so much. 24 months of Tier 1. 2 entire years of Tier 1 from Netlocked. Thank you. And Netlocked, now you should have the brand new, that created this weekend, fancy 2-year sub badge. And no, you do not. I don't see a sub. Oh, yes, you do. Yeah, I see it now. Cool. I don't see it on my OBS, but I see it on the screen. Brand new 2-year sub badge. Very fancy. Very, very fancy stuff. Hot dang. I get mixed signals from the Rings of Power. As soon as I think I'm figuring the message out, they move in a new direction. I hope things get going because it felt like a season of catching up and stage setting. My understanding is this first season really does seem like just like setting the table for similarly to House of the Dragon, but being done in my opinion, a much more boring way. Really just setting the table for the bulk of the story to then take place. Get mine in 13 days. Hell yeah. I told people. I told you that I would create a brand new 2-year sub badge, and I did over the weekend. Very exciting stuff. So you got election day in Winnipeg. None of these municipal elections are going very well, and I locked. Got a bunch of far-right losers running and will likely win. Oh, good.
You can count
Good,
on me.
very
You're
good.
going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
GMO, thank you for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you, GMO Radio. Very much appreciated. Thank you. Only redeeming quality about Rings of Power is the dwarfs. I like them. Yeah, I like G Cluppy was saying. I like the actress that plays Galadriel. I like the actor that plays Elrond. I think setting up the origins of like, you know, what Sauron, how Sauron kind of comes to power and Mordor and all this stuff. I think it's kind of interesting. It's just, I think in comparison to the very trashy melodrama of House of Dragon, it just falls flat to me. You know, I definitely don't hate it, and it does look amazing. It looks just fantastic. I don't hate it, but I think it suffers in comparison. I would say that. Our municipal election got bought wholesale by the Lululemon guy, but don't forget the police unions. Metal dipshit. Don't forget about them. Things are going really great. Things are going very good. Pretty psyched about this rug business. It definitely needs to be... It's very lumpy right now. I don't know if it's just going to, like, settle if I just leave it. It's a little lumpy, but it looks good. Okay, so... Gosh, it's fun doing the dragon lore stuff again. It really is. I missed it. I didn't realize how much I missed it. It had become so cool and fashionable to hate Game of Thrones over the last season when Benioff and Weiss just like sped through probably 6 years of story in the final season in a very unsatisfying way. It exposed their total inability to do any of this shit at once getting off the guidelines that George R.R. Martin laid down for them. It had become so fashionable to hate it that I forgot how much I missed liking it. And when I was really into it, I got all the books and I read them all. You know, it's nice. It's nice to be back into this. I do be in the mood for high fantasy bullshit in the winter. Carrier Wave, don't think I didn't see that comment about Avatar. That I saw some anti-Avatar sentiment being expressed. Now, I thought everyone in this community was kind of on the same page about Avatar. I thought we all kind of had an understanding. There's kind of an editorial line. There is kind of a political like program that's in place here, and liking Avatar is kind of frankly a central part of that, a central plank of the whole TRRS ideology that we're developing over here. And I did see some very unfortunate Avatar slander coming from what I thought was a loyal community member, Carrier Wave. And I'm frankly rethinking and reevaluating some things now. Is Rob holding the Chapo line of Avatar? It's not. This is my own line, okay? I came there completely independently. If the fine folks at Chapo Trap House happen to agree with that stance, wonderful. I wish them all the best. This is me, though, okay? This is all me. I'm a James Cameron guy. I'm a James Cameron guy. Always have been. Always will be. And a big-time Avatar enjoyer over here. I'm not going to turn it into a thing or try to make it part of my personality. I know we're both big movie heads. I'm just not going to pretend anymore. I'm sorry. Jesus Christ, Carrier Wave. He said it didn't look good. I mean, that's... Carrier, I mean... like... Come on. Come on now. Like, I understand. Even though I don't agree. I'm not you too, Sin Chow. Jesus. Even though I don't agree. If someone says they don't like the movie, okay, that's your personal preference. You think it's like just the New World, like the retelling of the New World story with blue cat people, okay. You think it's a remake of Fern Gully or whatever story that it's kind of referencing. Okay, sure. Fine. I don't agree. But I respect your opinion. Kind of. Saying it doesn't look good, though. I mean, come on now. Come on. Some unobtainium investors in the chat. White Savior. No, but the thing is, it's not a white savior film. And I'll tell you why. I've been over this before. Sans Dan Crenshaw's Something I Socket. I've been over this before. But the main character in this film, he literally has to kill his white... He has to destroy his own white body. He has to renounce his whiteness. He has to literally kill his own body. He has to kill the white colonialist imperialist before he can really like ascend, right? And the only reason he helps these tribes because he understands their tactics. Really, there's nothing about his like his whiteness that makes him like better or a better leader, right? He literally has to just like he has to kill his own body. He has to destroy his own body, his own whiteness. He has to renounce it entirely, not just like as some kind of metaphorical act, but literally. He literally has to give it up. Throw your white body into the gears. That's right. That's right. I'm not even talking about the themes. I just think it's boring and stupid. Carrier Wave, but you said it didn't look good, though. You said that it didn't look good, didn't you? Didn't you? Also, they don't have sex with the braids. It's a psychic link that enhances their intimacy. They're not fucking the dragons. Did anyone think that? I didn't think that. Did people think that? Yeah, it's like making like a psychic connection. And when they're, fucking or whatever, then they do that to like enhance the whole thing. That's not the entire biological function, though, in my understanding. I went and watched Avatar like 3 times and everyone was awed in the theater. Red Scare, I don't know what's going on here. They aren't fucking, and it's not weird, and it's fine, and also it feels good. Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Anyway, gotten a little off the rails here now. They're using a psychic dongle and not a physical dongle for the connection. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Stu. It was an important contribution. Anyway, I am looking forward to Avatar 2 being released in theaters in 1 month, 19 days, 11 hours, 23 minutes from now, from this moment. I will be there. I will be there. And I'm not going to have any more Avatar slander. I didn't watch the first one and I won't watch the second one, but I'm not a hater. Well, frankly, it kind of sounds like you are. It's a movie about the evils of capitalism and colonialism. It's the number one highest grossing movie of all time. It's a movie about protecting the environment, about defending indigenous people's right to violently overthrow their colonialist, capitalist oppressors. This is the number one highest grossing movie of all time. It's a movie about anti-imperialism. It's the most anti-fascist movie. The number one highest grossing film of all time. Aliens did it better. Well, you know I'm an Aliens head, Carrier Wave. That's something we can agree on. That is something we can absolutely agree on. It's the sincere, unironic anti-Starship Troopers. That's right. Yeah. James Cameron is untouchable. I just don't care for Avatar. Okay. All right, kid. I'm sorry. I singled you out, sir. I'm sorry. Okay. I maybe went a little overboard, frankly. Okay. Maybe I went a little overboard with this bit. But whose fault is that? Maybe chat sometimes needs to look in a mirror when it comes to these kind of situations. My life is not a bit. I think you didn't go far enough. Okay, well, I appreciate that some people support me on this. Funding paramilitary death squads to take out the Avatar haters. Well, it's just the people that hate it. I imagine that they think colonialism is good, frankly. That's kind of a messed up stance if you ask me personally, but I personally am against colonialism. Some people in the chat, I guess, disagree. Kind of fucked up. But whatever. If you don't like Avatar, you love colonialism. Thank you. That's right. In the same way that if you don't like the all-female Ghostbusters, you're a misogynist. Not exactly, because that movie was very bad. The cast was great, okay? The reason that it was bad had nothing to do with the cast. The cast was fucking great. It was a bad movie though, okay? It sucked. It was like a Ghostbusters parody SNL sketch. It looked like they were just making up the movie on the spot. Woman hating Rob back on his bullshit. Nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it whatsoever. I thought the cast was wonderful. I think I might have to get another beverage. What is everyone sipping on today? What do you got? What are you working on here? I did have a Rain Energy Dr. Pepper right now. Very nice. Metal Dipshit says piss. Okay. Homemade oat milk mocha. That sounds nice. Very good. Tap water. All right. A buy it Quoke. So I'm wondering right now, I already had a Rain Energy earlier. I made a really good sandwich. I've really perfected this kind of sandwich, this breakfast sandwich, that I make in certain different variations, but it's very good. The spicy egg boy, although it has different sort of variants. And I had a Rain Energy Total Body Fuel with that. Not that they'll return my calls or anything. Not that the Rain Energy Corporation deserves to have me using their product or drinking it or talking about it on this stream. Not that they do, but I did drink one earlier, a orange dreamsicle. Now I'm wondering now if You should get sponsored by Bang. I agree. And if anyone from Bang Energy is listening, I'd be happy to hear what they have to say. So I'm wondering now whether I should have another grapefruit bubbly or possibly a Diet Coke. I think I might go with a Diet Coke, actually. Fried egg sandwich was my favorite off-menu item at Denny's. See, I took a picture of my sandwich today that I had, but I don't know if it, like... I don't think it's really all that much to look at.
You can count on me.
Plus it's like sitting in a big...
to talk you through all this.
It's sitting in like a puddle of yolk, which was like really enjoyable, but I don't know if it's going to look that great in this image. Oh, this looks good. This egg thing from China looks good. We'll look at that after. Anyway, you can see the sandwich anyways. I really don't think it's much to look at. So I don't want to like raise anyone's like expectations too much. But here's this sandwich that I made. All the yolk was really like good. Like I really liked that part of it. But you can't really see the ingredients, right? So the bun was like toasted in the pan. The egg bun was it's an egg bun, okay? Toasted in the pan. We got an over easy fried egg in there, a couple of pieces of chorizo with mozzarella cheese as well, some hot peppers on top in this region, some like pepperoncinis with a spicy mayo on the top bun. And I got to tell you, it's really one of the best sandwiches I've ever eaten. Like I usually judge things when I make something, and I think to myself, like if I ordered this in a restaurant, like, and would I be saying like, oh wow, that's good? And I really would. Like this is a really good sandwich. It's very spicy, but not too much. You sop up all that yolk with the sandwich. It was really, like, I gotta say, this sandwich was fucking excellent. Is it cured Spanish chorizo or the Mexican type? You know what? I'm not sure. It's like it's chorizo salami that I got from like the deli in the grocery store around here. I see we're deep in the true essence of TRRS right now. That's right. This sandwich was absolutely just tremendous. Like I was listening to music while eating it, and I was honestly, when I was eating the sandwich, I kind of went into this like fugue state. Like I didn't even really enjoy it. You know, one of those things you eat that's so good that you don't even really enjoy it. You kind of just like go into like this semi-conscious, like dream-like state when you're eating it, and then you kind of snap out of it, and it's all you're holding like the remnants of something in your hand that's almost finished, and you're like, no, what happened? That's what happened when I ate this. That's what happened when I ate this sandwich. I totally just like lost consciousness for a few moments while I was eating it. How much yolk did you get in this? I was pretty hygienic eating this. Not a lot of spillover. At the end of the sandwich, they should have said to poet at the end of the sandwich. Yeah. You must practice mindfulness. Seriously, I've got to be consciously there for every bite. No judgment. My answer would have been all of it. No, I think I did okay, but thank you for your concern. This sandwich, though, is really just like, I'm trying to describe how good it was, and I can't even successfully do it. That looks really good. That looks like a very good sandwich. I've said this before, like, not only is the American economy being overtaken by China, not only is America as like the sole global hegemon, the sole geopolitical hegemon being taken over by China, even the area of snack food, which America has had decades to perfect, which America loves to talk about how much they're better than the rest of the world they are in the world of snack food. Even in that, China is now lapping the United States. You know? That's how badly America is just losing now. Even in the sandwiches. Even in sandwiches and snack food, they're being completely overtaken by the People's Republic of China. That's how fucking grim. That's how grim it is. I've been hearing that the Chinese economy is on the verge of collapse. Something I've heard every year since 1967. That's right. I think President Xi is under house arrest, actually. I think President Xi is currently under house arrest, and all the big, like, 20th National Congress that they just did, that was all just, fake or whatever. These China watchers sound identical to QAnon people. They're like, oh, no, that's all just for show. Really, President Xi had an ankle monitor from the coup government that really overthrew him.
Some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada.
Yes,
I was turned on to this sick
Lucid,
individual.
thank you very much for the raid. Look at these raids today are getting already. Thank you, Lucid, for the raid. I really appreciate that. Welcome, Lucid. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for coming in here. I'm Rob. Hello. Thanks for joining us. Smash the follow button. Okay? Smash the follow. Look at this face. Look at this face. You want to follow this stream, don't you? You want to. You want to press the follow button at the bottom of the screen and get notifications when this stream goes live, when you can see this face again. Just look at this. I don't need to do the whole introductory spiel. Huh? Come on. It's a face you can trust. That's right. Nice to meet you, Rose Armories. Hello, nice to meet you as well. That's where the trouble began. That smile. That damned smile. Yeah, I know the left flank Vets Candy Liquor emote is back. I know. Okay? Thank you. I know that it's there. Anyway, if you want to see this sandwich we were just looking at, that's what we're pretty much talking about today. We did a lot of dragon bullshit up front. We talked about the correct opinion that the film Avatar is good. And how anyone that thinks otherwise is really not welcome in this community. And obviously Lucid and Lucid's chatters understand this as well. So I know that's not going to be an issue here. Talked a little bit about the sandwich that I ate today, which was very good. And then we watched this TikTok. And we're talking about how America's being overtaken by China, not just in economic and geopolitical terms, but snack food terms as well. Check this shit out. Looks really good. I don't know if it's spam. I'm not sure. It does look good, doesn't it? I think Fetterman made some good points in his debate when he insinuated China is our enemy. Yeah, we love our progressive heroes in America, don't we? Our progressive heroes who, despite being better than the weird fucking reality show charlatans that they're up against, are also huge pieces of shit in their own right. Also a big-time Zionist. That John Fetterman. But hey, let's all celebrate over the memes and stuff that they post online sometimes, right? Some good memes, certainly. The radical pro-fracking, pro-Israel, anti-China tanky. That's right. That's right. Love how anyone running for Senate wants to go to war with China. That's the marketplace of ideas at work. We love our bipartisan foreign policy, relentless brinksmanship, and support for new Cold War Red Scare propaganda. Absolutely. If you don't want to go to war with China, then you're going to lose the Senate race. Yeah, and so I was talking about the 20th National Congress or whatever, and how people are like, no, the government was overthrown. That was funny seeing people freaking out. People all of a sudden pretending to care about Wu Jintao. Oh no, ooh, oh no. Not Wu Jintao being like politely escorted out of the National Congress. Oh, how sinister. Oh, my goodness. This is so scary. Like, how dare you? How dare you not respect Wu Jintao? All these people, all of a sudden, they really care. They really care about what's going on with Wu Jintao. Yeah, I like my former leaders that don't get politely escorted out of the Congress. How about that? How about that? Name one thing that he did. You like Wu Jintao? Name like 3 of his classic albums. How about that? Oh no, name 3 of his songs. Oh no, he was escorted out of the Congress. Ooh. Terrifying. Yes, and it's also funny, Fetterman, like that's the one thing that that's what he's criticizing Oz over, is that his products were made in China. Yeah, no shit, dude. All American manufacturing was outsourced to China. No shit. Did you just figure this out now, Fetterman? You fucking loser. Whose fault was that? And I'm not here, I don't want to defend Dr. fucking Oz. Which, of course, I'm not going to sit here and do. But, like, you're criticizing someone. How dare your products were manufactured in China? Where the fuck, like, where do you want them to be manufactured? Of course they're manufactured in China. You cannot mass produce things here. It's literally not possible. It is literally not possible. If you've got a problem with American manufacturing being outsourced to China, I'll tell you what, you shouldn't take it up with Dr. Oz. You shouldn't take it up with Dr. Oz, should you? No, you should take it up with Sorry, hold on. I really tried to time that well. I tried to time it well and I failed, frankly. If you've got a problem with American manufacturing being outsourced to China, you should not take it up with Dr. Oz. You should take it up with this man. Hey, Lana, what's up? Happy to see you, Lana. Everyone is Waspappin, LaRouche, or Hitler. There's no in between. There's no in between now. There's absolutely no in between. Hang on one sec. I'm just going to get a... I'm just going to get a Diet Coke, folks. And we can talk some more. Okay? Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry. But obviously I know it was muted, chat. Obviously I know that. Obviously I know that. You think I'm a fucking idiot? Really? You think that I didn't know that I was muted? Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah, thanks. Thanks. I know. I know it's muted. Thanks for telling me. It was a test. I was testing you. It is a hater arc today. It really is. I'm very thirsty. Very thirsty today. It's so warm today. Very, very thirsty. Anyway, I was just responding to Lana's comment that someone called her an Assadist today, and I'm kind of happy you brought that up because it's something that I wanted to get into. I thought I was going to be talking about this with Ryan Grimm later today, and we still might for the podcast with Jordan, the Insurgents podcast, which of course you should subscribe to, and can do so by you following the link in the chat there. The podcast that I do with Jordan Ewell. But wanted to talk about this absolutely pathetic display. This absolutely pathetic display by the Progressive Caucus in the Democratic Party, who put out that letter, what was on Monday, that was maybe regarding Russia and Ukraine and the idea of trying to push Biden to embrace diplomacy to end the conflict in eastern Ukraine, which was about 1 millimeter to Biden's left, right? About one, like literally, like the war is good and we should continue to finance Ukraine indefinitely, and Putin bad and Russia bad, but perhaps we should just try and see if we can talk a little bit to Russia and try and de-escalate using diplomacy, in addition to, you know, the endless arms transfers. And people got so mad at that. People got so mad at even that. Literally, it's literally 1 centimeter to Biden's left. People got so mad at that they immediately had to say, whoa, we didn't mean it. Whoa. And they immediately backed down. And what did Pramila Jayapal say? Oh, one of our staffers sent it. We didn't even know that it was going out. And we wrote it months ago. And one of our staffers sent it. We had no idea. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Are you like, that is the most embarrassing, humiliating, cowardly display that I think I've ever seen from the Democratic Party. Just absolutely pathetic. Not even a good lie. Yeah, the Daily Kos guy. It's the Putin propagandist Pramila Jayapal. Yeah, that's right. Tanky anti-imperialist gray zone reader Pramila Jayapal. Drill level, I'm sorry, I'm trying to delete it. Yeah. It's curious how like 30% of said weapons make it to the front lines. We don't even know who these weapons are going to. Who cares, right? Who cares? As long as we're sending them, that's all that matters. Just keep sending them. No one can ever question that. Just keep sending them. Maybe one of those staffers that smokes the reefer. That's right. Not wanting to die in nuclear hellfire or turn Ukraine into a smoking hole in the ground makes you a tanky. That's right. People are so fucking concerned about where the borders of eastern Ukraine are. We got to end the whole world over this now. That's the only option. That's the only option. If fucking Donetsk and Luhansk aren't part of Ukraine and are part of Russia, I will fucking destroy the entire planet. That's what people are saying. I'm so passionate about this. I heard about these places 3 months ago, and it's the most important political issue of my lifetime. We have to die for the OUN. So this is just like pathetic display. It's just absolutely pathetic display. And it's like the one thing that I just wanted to, like, we can look more into this, but this is like the fundamental problem, I think, for me, that we've been saying all along on this show about when it comes to Russia and Ukraine, which is that you can't really move forward on this at all if you don't acknowledge that the United States and Canada, and this is so controversial. This has become so fucking controversial. This is how outrageous this is. But just to acknowledge, this is what I ask people. And if you're new to the stream, if you haven't thought about this, if you are one of these like really like passionate Ukraine defenders, I would just ask you to consider this. This is my only request to anyone about this, which is that we just acknowledge that Canada and the United States played a role in fanning the flames of that conflict and provoking the conflict. That we played a role, that's all. And when you can acknowledge that without saying that you think the invasion of Ukraine is good, or that Putin is good, or that any of the horrible things that have happened during the war, which inevitably happened during every single war, are great, that you think it's a good thing that these things have happened, that doesn't mean that. You don't have to acknowledge that. You don't have to think that. You really don't. All you have to do is just acknowledge that we played a role in it. And this is not controversial. Like we've pointed out many times, why is this image of Deng on the screen right now? It's kind of funny to talk about. Like I've acknowledged many times, in the like pro-Putin, anti-imperialist rag, the Ottawa Citizen, there has been reporting about Canada's role in arming and funding these right-wing militias in Ukraine. Right? Which is how I started talking about. I started talking about this in like 2018 or 2019. When I learned that the Canadian government was arming Nazis in eastern Ukraine, I thought to myself, why are we doing that? That's not good. I don't agree that we should be doing that. That's my big controversial stance that I developed around 2019. I kind of thought we were all on the same page about like anti-fascism and like not liking Nazis and stuff. Remember the whole like punch, if you see a Nazi, punch that Nazi as hard as you can. Remember all the people saying that online and stuff? I thought we were all kind of on the same page about this. So when I read reporting in the Ottawa Citizen about Canada arming and funding fascist militias in eastern Ukraine to fight this proxy war against Russia, I said to myself, I don't like this. I don't think that this is good. I know it's really crazy, but this is my extremist radical stance on this, which apparently is now so out of bounds and so controversial that you can't even say without all these people getting mad at you, all these NAFO folks. And it's not just Canada. Of course, in the United States, we've seen the clip as well. We've watched it many times on this show of John McCain and Lindsey Graham being in Ukraine in 2015 and hanging out with these Azov guys and literally saying to them on camera, we'll give you whatever you want. We'll give you whatever weapons you want. We'll give you whatever weapons you want as long as you take the fight to the Russians. Right? They're literally on camera hanging out with these guys and saying that to them. We'll give you whatever weapon, whatever you need. Doesn't matter. Just as long as you take the fight to the Russians. Okay? So, plenty of evidence is out there to show that we contributed to this. The West, Canada, the United States, the NATO countries. We've been arming and funding these groups now for many years. And Russia, whether you like Russia or not, or whether you think this is justified or not, you don't need to think that it's justified, but you can take that very clear fact that we have been arming and funding these groups and at least acknowledge that they view that as a provocation, as a threat to their security, which, as we all know, the United States or Canada would do the exact same thing. If another country was arming proxies directly on their border, interfering in the government politically to install a pro-NATO, pro-EU government, which means nuclear weapons directly parked on their border. So all I ask is that people acknowledge that we played a role in this, in fanning the flames of this conflict, and provoking it. And that doesn't mean it's justified. I would ask people to acknowledge that we played a role in escalating this conflict to this point. And it's like, if you can just acknowledge that, then diplomacy is the only answer. Dialogue and diplomacy is the only answer. If you can just acknowledge that we played a role in it, and acknowledge that it's not this like unprovoked, unjustified, evil imperialist war of conquest as its friend. If it was that, they wouldn't have to say it every single time it's mentioned in Western media. The unprovoked, unjustified invasion and this kind of thing. If you can acknowledge that we played a role in it, then it's not unprovoked. And the only option on the table is to have dialogue and to have diplomacy and to have de-escalation. And if you have this childish, like one-sided black and white good versus evil viewpoint of this, that there's one poor innocent country that just wants to have people respect their sovereignty and their burgeoning democracy, and the evil Russian bad guys that want to just kill and maim and destroy and take over and conquest. If you have that viewpoint of it, then it's like, yeah, the only option on the table is more weapons, more arms transfers, and the only possible end to this conflict is Russia being defeated militarily. But if you just acknowledge, like I've been asking, the basic reality that we contributed to provoking this conflict, which is just, shouldn't be controversial. It shouldn't be controversial. If you can just acknowledge that, then the only thing that's like available then is dialogue and diplomacy. If we've played a role in provoking the conflict, we can play a role in de-escalating it. And for these House Democrats to then come out and say like, no, we should have some kind of dialogue, and to be framed literally these fucking House Democrat politicians being framed as being like tankies and Putin propagandists. That's how fucking backwards this is, to the point that they have to be like, oh no, sorry, we didn't mean it, actually. We didn't mean any of this. This was just a joke. Anti-racist, punch Nazis, Russians are orcs, Slava Ukraini. There we go. Yeah. Those Russians are just genetically predisposed to doing violence. That's right. And, one of the things that we talk a lot on this stream about, like, multipolarity and the shifting geopolitical landscape, and the fact that the United States its role as the sole global hegemon is diminishing, and their ability to just wage imperialist proxy wars and destabilize and overthrow whatever government they don't like is not really as ironclad as it once was. And to some people, Ukraine is the first example of this, of a country saying like, no, we're not going to allow you to keep doing this, right? And that's what a lot of the reaction to it is from. But I think Syria is the other example. Syria was the first such case, right? NATO and the United States overthrew Libya to disastrous effect in the exact same way, helping provoke a civil war, arming and funding one side of the civil war to overthrow and destabilize the government that was there, giving endless weapons and arms transfers to the people waging this civil war, no matter who it was, even if they were extremists, even if they were violent. That's what they did in Libya to absolutely disastrous effect, and in the media at the same time said the same thing. We have to support these brave freedom fighters, just as they did in Afghanistan, just as they've done all over the fucking world, in El Salvador and other countries, like all over the world. This exact strategy, arming and funding these proxies to fight this civil war to overthrow and destabilize a government they didn't like. They did it to Libya. They tried to do it to Syria, and not only the Syrian government, but Russia, in that case, said, no, we're not going to let you do this anymore. And that's been the big shift, right? Is that Russia said, like, no, we're gonna back the government that you're trying to overthrow, and we're gonna bring our military in, and we're not gonna let this happen. But Syria was gassing its own people. Well, here's the problem, though, Aryav. Here's the problem. In a civil war, obviously, terrible, terrible things happen, right? And Russia carried out horrible bombing campaigns in the Syrian civil war as well. But similarly to Libya and similarly to Ukraine, we helped start that civil war. We helped start that civil war by arming and funding these proxies, which led to this level of violence. So here's my issue with this. When we're arming and funding these proxies, whether it's in Afghanistan, whether it's in Libya, whether it's in Syria, whether it's in Ukraine, and then a government in response commits acts of violence of its own, which happens in any war, right? Horrible acts of violence. I think it's childish of us to then point our finger and say, look at these horrible, brutal dictators, when we're right in there from moment one, encouraging these conflicts. I broke a nail. It's America's fault. I think that's a pretty simplistic way of looking at it, Pezzy, because you should know this. We are arming and funding these proxies. In Libya and in Syria, we're arming and funding like Al-Qaeda and these horrible people. In Ukraine, we've been arming and funding Azov Battalion and Right Sector and these horrible fascist militias. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's the reality. That's the reality of what we've been doing. So I think it's a really simplistic way of looking at it when this is the kind of activity that we engage in, arming and funding these horrible fucking monstrous people to fight civil wars and destabilize countries that we don't like so that we can install a friendly government that we do like, that's sympathetic to NATO, that's sympathetic to the EU, that's not sympathetic to China, that's not going to allow it to be part of the Belt and Road Initiative, that's not going to be purchasing cheap Russian gas from Russia and giving them, resources in the process. I think it's really simplistic and childish when we do this to then just point our finger at the violence that inevitably happens and say like, oh my goodness, look at these barbarians. I think that's fucking ridiculous, and it's not a accurate way of looking at any of this stuff. Context is for authoritarians, Rob. There's only good guys and bad guys. And conveniently, we're always the good guy. Well, that's the thing, Lana, because there's a lot of people as well that are like, no, of course we're usually the bad guy. No, yeah, we're usually the bad guy. Just in these cases, we are good, though. It's just, usually we're bad. In many other cases in the past, in Iraq and Vietnam and, Libya and all these other places, we were bad. But this time it's different. This time we're the good guys. This time we're doing the right thing, And it's like, come on now. Come on. And that's the thing. Syria, I think, was the first example of a government just like putting their foot down and saying like, no, we're not going to let you do this. They saw what was happening. We were trying to give Syria the exact same treatment that we gave to Libya. And Russia said like, no, we're not going to let you do that. And Russia in the process bombed all these Syrian cities, certainly did terrible things, killed civilians. I don't think anyone would deny that. The Syrian government has done terrible things as part of the civil war. I don't think anyone would deny that. But we can't frame this as just being this like one-sided battle of good and evil when we're right in there from moment one, arming and funding these groups, engaging in this activity to overthrow and destabilize these governments in the first place. So if you can at least understand this basic nuanced idea that we have played a role in Ukraine, in Syria, just as we've done all over the world, that we've played a role in escalating things to this point for very specific geopolitical reasons that have nothing to do with protecting democracy or protecting people's sovereignty or any of that bullshit. Come on. Who really believes this? We're talking about the United States government here. Do you really think they give a shit about protecting anyone's sovereignty or democracy? Are you fucking kidding me? Do you know what these people are capable of? Like, listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. If you actually go around like suggesting that this is the reason that America's getting involved in this or any other conflict, come on. Come on now. It's time to grow up. It's time to grow up now. I'm about to smoke weed. Hell yeah, Maxie. There's a good Chomsky take about how we know it's provoked because they specify unprovoked every time they mention it. No, totally.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Hey, Comrade Social Distancing, thank you so much for the gifted 3 subs. Hell yeah, thank you so much, Comrade Social Distancing. I think a part of people's brains might actually be missing. I don't know what the fuck's going on, Lana. I do not know what the hell's going on. I feel like, we have these same conversations on this channel a lot. But like, I don't like, I genuinely don't get how people have time and time again get sucked into these campaigns and give it their support. I don't know. How many times are we going to repeat this? How many times do we have to keep going through this? And we're just going to do it again in Taiwan. We're going to do the exact same thing in Taiwan. And people are going to say make the exact same arguments. Oh, we just got to protect. We got to protect all of us. I'm from fucking Wisconsin or whatever, or Calgary, or what have you, some random place in the West. And I'm so passionate about protecting the people of Taiwan and their sovereignty and their democracy. People are going to be doing the same thing. Jesus Christ. I can't understand what they get from indulging in this delusional nonsense. Like, what do you get from fighting about the series of events that led to Russia invading Ukraine? This is what I mean. It's like, you can go and look at the clip of John McCain and Lindsey Graham talking to these like Azov guys in Ukraine, and Amy Klobuchar was there as well to show how bipartisan it is. Literally, they're being like, "We'll get you whatever we'll get you whatever you want as long as you keep fighting the Russians." And it's like people still say that suggesting that that this is a proxy war of some kind is Russian propaganda. Like, what the fuck? Like, regardless of all the stuff with the Maidan protests and Veronica Nuland and all the stuff about the phone calls that were being made and Hillary Clinton and John McCain going over there, all the evidence that America was interfering in the precious Ukrainian democracy there. Even setting aside all that shit, there's literally video footage of John McCain and Lindsey Graham going like, well, yeah, we'll give you whatever weapons you need. Just fight the Russians. Like, literally saying that. Like, how much more clear does it have to be? How much more clear does that have to be to people? And people still say, you suggest that we played a role in this? You suggest that this was provoked somehow?
We simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account.
Where's my fainting couch? Someone fetch my fainting couch. Someone just suggested that we were involved in this somehow. Come on now. Like,
your fight is our fight.
Ваша боротьба – це наша боротьба.
2017 will be the year of offense.
Рік 2017 рік буде ріком нападу.
All of us will go back to Washington and we will push the case against Russia.
Ми всі повернемося до Вашингтону і ми будемо відстоювати санкції проти Росії.
Enough of a Russian aggression.
Досить вже російської агресії.
It is time for them to pay a heavier price.
Час вже, щоб вони заплатили важчу ціну.
Is this a
I
deep
believe
fake?
you will win. I am convinced you will win, and we will do everything we can to provide you with what you need to win.
Я вірю в те, що ви виграєте, переможете. Я переконаний в тому, що ви переможете, і ми вам допоможемо всіма можливими засобами.
Це те ж саме гільзи з ворожих БМП, які розмальовані художньо.
But saying that we played a role in this is just outrageous. It's It's Putin propaganda suggests that we played a role in provoking this conflict. Like, that's Putin propaganda. How much more fucking clear does it need to be to you? Oh, sorry, Dimitri. Thanks for the 100 friend coin. What did you say back here? Oh, yeah, this thing from Louis all day. Yeah, this looks good. Yeah, is that a conspiracy theory? Is it a conspiracy theory to suggest that the West played a role in provoking this conflict? If you're Russia and you see that video, if you're in the Russian government and you see that video, you don't think that's maybe something to be concerned about? You don't think that they view that maybe as being a threat to their security and their sovereignty? Maybe, I don't know. They're right there. They're right there saying, we'll give you whatever arms you need to fight the Russians. Like, maybe Russia might view that as being kind of a provocation. I don't know. I'm just some guy here on Twitch. But maybe they might view that as being kind of a provocation. I know that's really crazy and outrageous to say, but I don't know.
Well, people sometimes say to me, well, what do you have, a conspiracy theory? Do you think there's some, do you think these leaders are just deliberately trying to manipulate the whole world just to suit themselves? What do you say? Conspiracy theorists. How do you like that? I mean, do you think there's actually a group of men sitting in a room who sit there and are plotting these things? For some reason, do you hear that? You have that up here? You think there's a group of people sitting around in a room? But somehow that image is supposed to be very compelling, you know? So improbable. And I always say, oh, no, they don't sit around in a room. They meet on carousels and they talk to each other that way. Or they do, what do they call it? Free falling. No, with the parachute guys? They all lock arms. You see those parachutes? What? Skydivers. They all skydive. You see them locking arms. What do you think they're talking about when they're all locked arms like that? That's where they meet. Of course they meet in rooms. Where the hell else do you think they're going to meet? They have...
Sometimes they're smoke-filled rooms as well.
You have a stochastic theory. There's a word. Look it up. Stochasticism is the theory that everything happens by chance. So you have a coincidence theory. Stuff just happens. Oh, George the first wanted to bomb Iraq. George the second wants to bomb. It just must run in the family.
The wasting times. Do you hear yourself right now? Disputing U.S. involvement is dumb, but Russia instigated the conflict. Their operatives and fighters crossed the Ukraine border to stir up shit. U.S. aided an ally against Russia imperialist intrusions. Do you fucking hear yourself, sir or madam? Do you hear yourself? Come on. Please. Come on now. We're talking about the United States National Security Establishment. You know, are you familiar with these people? You know, the CIA, the West American military, some of the things that they've gotten up to. Do you really think these people deserve the benefit of the doubt that you're giving them? You're giving these fucking monsters in the Western US-led national security establishment the benefit of the doubt. Why? Why do these people deserve the benefit of the doubt? These are fucking monsters. They're murderers. They're liars and murderers. And you're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Oh, we were just helping out an ally. Oh, that's all we were doing, isn't it? Oh, yeah. We were just helping out our ally. We're just doing them a solid. Give me a fucking break, sir. infantile. It's childish. I'm sorry. It's a childish way of looking at this. The neurodivergent CIA ads are working. We got an anarcho-NATOist over here. Jesus Christ. We've got to be better than this. When you find yourself saying something like this, typing it into Twitch chat or Twitter, or saying it to a friend and family member, we were just helping out our ally. We were just helping out our ally that having their sovereignty was being disrespected. Come on. Come on now. Honest Yanks were just helping a friend from the Russian bully. It's that simple. This has been going on for decades. The same thing. The same fucking story each and every time. Oh, this time it's real though. Give me a break. Please. U.S. self-interest is sometimes a broken clock and coincides with the just position. Here's my thing, wasting times. No, it is not. No, it is not. It at no point does it ever coincide with the just position. No, it does not. This one time though. This one time we were doing the right thing. Oh, sorry. Jesus Christ, people. Do we have to look at this again? This is so simple to understand. This is so simple to understand, folks. It's a fucking child could understand this message, okay?
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
TRRS.
Good Lord. Here comes the important thing. Here comes the important message that clearly not enough people have tried to understand.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
The easiest thing for me to understand is to sub to the Friendship Triangle Comrade.
Porque es la naturaleza del imperialismo la que bestializa a los hombres, la que la convierte en fieras sedientas de sangre que están dispuestas a degollar, a asesinar, a destruir hasta la última imagen de un revolucionario, de un partidario de un régimen que haya caído bajo su bota o que luche por su libertad. Y la estatua que recuerda a Lumumba, hoy destruida pero mañana reconstruida, nos recuerda también en la historia trágica de ese mártir de la revolución del mundo, que no se puede confiar en el imperialismo, pero ni tantito así, nada.
Nada, folks. How hard is this to understand? You cannot trust imperialism for a minute, not even a little. How hard is this to understand, people? Does Che in this quote, does he say, but one time though it might be okay. Take it on a case by case. You can trust him. Sometimes you can trust the imperialists, okay? Not often. Okay? Not often. But Every now and then, you do actually have to trust the imperialists. No, you do not. Not for 1 minute. Not even a little. Not even a little. Never. Nada. Not, oh, this one time we're on the right side. This one time the imperialists are, they're doing the right thing. No. And you have a fundamental misunderstanding. I agree with him, so we must destroy the Russian fascist army. Your understanding, because your understanding of imperialism seems to be when one country invades another country, which is famously not at all what imperialism is. If you think Russia, as an imperialist power, comes anywhere close to the United States and the Western imperialism, if you think Russia compares in the fucking slightest as an imperialist power to the United States of America, you're fucking delusional. I'm sorry. Does Russia have control over the global financial system? Does Russia have hundreds of military bases encircling the entire globe? Has Russia spent the last several decades installing and overthrowing whatever governments they don't like in order to ruthlessly at gunpoint enforce a very specific economic system that benefits their elites? No. The US is only as bad as it is because it's powerful. Imagine if Russia had the same power. That's fantasy land, though. You're living in fantasy land right now. They don't have the same power. I can imagine all kinds of things. Imagine if I was 6'7" and I played in the NBA and I had a 40% 3-point shooting average. And just imagine. I can imagine all kinds of things. I like to live in reality, though, in actual reality. If things weren't the same, they'd be very different. Sorry, and I got to say thank you to Osaku as well for the 10 months resub at tier 2. Today's chat is off the wall. That's why it's hypothetical. Why do we want to talk about hypotheticals? Let's talk about actual reality. Sorry, someone else resubbed as well, and I want to make sure I thank them. I'm not seeing all the Godzone Drunk. 10 months of Prime from Godzone Drunk. Thank you, Godzone Drunk. My chat is kind of slow here. The return of candy liquor has caused total chaos. Honestly, I kind of get off on this. I don't like to debate, but it is kind of funny to yell about this kind of stuff. What use is a hypothetical? But the thing is, I'm wondering what use is hypothetical because I'm saying, following Che's direction here, which you clearly don't want to do, which is that we cannot trust imperialism for a minute, not even a little. And the number one imperialist power in this situation is the West, is the United States of America, who have been arming and funding, as I've been very clearly outlining, have been arming and funding these proxies in eastern Ukraine now for many years. And that's not a secret. That's not a secret, and it's not Putin propaganda. So why are they doing that? Is it because they're helping out their ally that's being bullied by the mean Russians? Well, if you're a fucking child and you want to give these imperialists the benefit of the doubt, okay, that's what they're doing. But I prefer to not give these fucking monsters, these liars and murderers in the Western national security establishment and the United States military the benefit of the doubt in this way. And in fact, just as Che is very clearly directing, I don't ever trust these people. Not even for a minute. And if you find yourself saying, well, this one time they got it right. This one time they got it right. They happened to be on the just side this one time. No! No! Victim blaming. Jesus Christ. People have been dying in eastern Ukraine. In eastern Ukraine for the last 8 years, right? Do those people are they victims as well? People that have been getting bombed and shelled by the Ukrainian government with Western weapons? with the people that like we've been getting killed by the people we've been training and arming and funding, literal Nazis in some cases, literal Nazis. This has been going on for 8 years. And we have been fostering Banderites since before World War II, as has Canadian Deputy Prime Minister, Finance Minister, former Foreign Affairs Minister during the time that Canada was arming these fascists, Chrystia Freeland. Oh, there's a Jewish president. Okay. Well, excuse me. My mistake. I hadn't heard that, actually. I hadn't heard that. Why is it, do you think, that this Jewish president, Zelensky, who campaigned in the election on de-escalation, on ending the war that was going on in the Donbass region, why didn't you think he was able to do that? Why didn't they just follow? They had a peace treaty on the table, the Minsk agreements, and they didn't follow through with it. Russia didn't want to. Okay. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I don't know, folks. I'm an anarchist that seems to unequivocally support NATO. You're a pro-NATO anarchist. You're an anarcho-NATOist. How sad is that? All states are bad, except, of course, the American imperialism. I support that unequivocally in this case. They just happen to get this one right. I'm an anarchist, and yet I uncritically support NATO and repeat pro-Western, pro-NATO talking points as if they're reality. Sad. NATO is a voluntary alliance. It's a defensive alliance, Rob. It's a defensive alliance. This is what we're dealing with here, folks. This is what we're dealing with. I don't know. Those are defensive missile systems on your border. My chat is really slow. It's hard for me to scroll back up. I'll tell you this, I really hate the US. I really hate the USA, but we got to support the brave Mujahideen freedom fighters against Russian imperialism this time. Those Russian choppers are legitimate military targets. Wasting Time says, imperialism is a policy. You took time to look this up on Wikipedia, so congratulations to you. Imperialism is a policy of extending a country's power and influence through diplomacy or military force. This is Russia and Ukraine. Wasting Times, I would ask yourself to imagine that the United States and Canada and the West has been engaging in that exact practice in Ukraine since 2014, since the fall of the Soviet Union, extending our influence through diplomacy or military force, undemocratically overthrowing the Soviet Union, funding and supporting the Maidan protests to install a pro-EU or pro-NATO, pro-Western government. Literally exactly what we've been doing. for years, for decades in Ukraine. Jesus. Yeah, again, and this is the fucking attitude of this conflict began in February of 2022. If that's despite everything that we just talked about, if that is your fucking stance, that this conflict began in February of 2022, then sure, I can understand why you would think that. I've been very clearly articulating exactly how that is not the case, though. That you're living in delusional fantasy land, if that's what you think. That's the baby-brained liberal definition anyway. Marxists care about capital export. That's what I mean. Like, Matt, it's not just about, using influence in another country to further your own interests, but about controlling global financial systems, global systems of information. Good Lord. Your absolutism about U.S. empire never being able to align with the just side is untenable. Why do you give Russia's imperialism a pass? Oh, God. Oh. Lana, I don't know. What are we supposed to do with this? What are we supposed to do with this, folks?
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
If you want to be my robber, you gotta get with my triangle. Make it last forever. Friendship never ends. Rob.
Outrun, thank you so much for the 19 months of tier 2 resub. Outrun, aka Marty. I really appreciate you, Marty. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you're doing all right. And I didn't say anything mean about you earlier when you were not here. Didn't say anything at all, actually. And I wouldn't look into it. Don't watch the VOD. It's not that important. I hope you're doing all right. COVID sufferer. I was absolutely miserable when I had COVID, so I hope you're feeling better soon. And again, I didn't say anything mean earlier in the stream. It didn't happen. It never happened. It's a total fabrication. It's just so weird how this has just been totally. It's so out of bounds, my opinion, to some people, which people understand in the chat, right? Just that we've played a role in provoking this and pretending that we haven't is just childish.
Through all this.
Thank you, Maxi. Thank you for the 16 months resub of tier 1. I appreciate you, Maxi. Thank you. Oh, Lord. I was getting worked up over here today. It's been a couple days. I didn't stream yesterday or Monday. I'm getting all worked up now. Currently, the U.S. is invited by Ukraine to... I can't help but do this. I can't help but continue. Currently, the U.S. is invited by Ukraine to help. Russia is very much uninvited. And during the lead-up, Russia was also exerting influence in Ukraine. So two empires are involved. Which is the one trying to subjugate Ukraine through invasion of occupation? But who invited the U.S.? Wasting times? Who? The U.S. was deeply implicated in installing a pro-Western government in Ukraine. The U.S. has been deep, and Canada has been deeply involved in creating this whole like right-wing, anti-communist, anti-Soviet Ukrainian national identity. We've been pouring resources for decades into creating this exact situation. You know, we're also invited into Libya by the free Libyan army, right? Where all these proxies that we've been arming and funding, they want us to come in there. The people of Afghanistan invited us right in. They wanted us to come overthrow the Taliban menace. The U.S. literally had officials there on stage during the coup. Juan Guaido is there inviting us to Venezuela. I can't believe I fell for the Libya thing. That is the one way I was guilty of supporting at the time. How stupid of me. Well, I think a lot of people only fact. I don't even want to I didn't support military action in Libya, but I think especially initially the whole Arab Spring narrative was, I think, really compelling to Western audiences. And I think especially in Egypt with Mubarak, who was a U.S. ally, I felt really inspired by the Tahrir Square protests in Egypt and the whole idea of the Arab Spring. That was something that was designed to get Westerners on board. Especially you see that in retrospect, right? They invited us in. They just invited us in. Yeah, and the Russians are invited by the oppressed people in the Donbass. This is the thing, Matt. It's like the idea that there's people in that eastern region of Ukraine that are actually not upset about any of this, that are actually happy about this current situation, that actually want to be part of Russia, that are actually I'm tired of being shelled by the Ukrainian government, having bombs dropped on my neighborhood, bombs that were supplied by the Canadian and the United States military establishment. They're actually I'm pretty okay with this situation. They were waiting. They wanted Russia to come in years ago. Can you believe the area next to Russia is Russian? It's just unthinkable. It's just unthinkable. Do you think what happened at the start of the Arab Spring in Tunisia was bad? I don't know the specifics of it. I think a lot of these things, these protest movements, in Libya as well, start totally organically and start with people that genuinely do want to protest their material conditions, their living situation. It's just, how does this then get warped and used by Western imperialists who then start pumping in arms and funds to specific groups for very specific ends? A lot of the time they start off totally organically and totally innocently. Yeah, most color revolutions get started with genuine struggle and then get co-opted by the West for capital gain. Very, very well put. Oh, I don't know, friends. I can't argue about it anymore. I've said my piece. There's people obviously that just are not interested in being convinced about any of these issues. That seems clear. I've really tried to patiently explain to people, maybe not as patient today. But on Twitter and other times, I've very patiently tried to explain this to people. And people, if you don't want to get it, they just don't want to get it. You know? If you want to just continue denying and obfuscating the role that the West has played in Ukraine or Syria or Libya or any of these fucking places, if you're really that dead set on taking this completely uncritical pro-Western line on every single one of these points, then it's I can't help you. You know? I don't know what to fucking tell you. And I'm like, I can enjoy getting into a little back and forth over it, but I can't fucking just do it. I can't spend my entire day doing it. Pramila Jayapal wants to keep not understanding this, apparently. Exactly. And this is what started us off talking about this. Yeah, it doesn't matter, Marty. I'm finished, I think, going in a back and forth about it. I'm no longer interested in trying to convince. I will not debate. I'll say my piece as clearly as possible. You either get it or you don't. I'm not going to persuade you or build my ranks and overpower you. It's a good way of looking at it, Lana. Like, I don't, like, literally an anarchist or someone that calls themselves a leftist, anarchist, anti-imperialist, whatever, who then just goes on, literally sits all day on Twitch chat, quite literally just repeating, completely uncritically repeating pro-NATO, pro-Western talking points, is just like, well, you know, what can you do with that? What can you do with that? I don't know. I don't know. There's streamers that do that. Yeah, fucking, I know that. Tell me about it. Did the CIA get caught selling blow to fund illegal wars? Yes, but that all stopped. Yeah, listen, the CIA is terrible. It's just this one time they happen to be on the just side. This one time it happens to be good, what they're doing, okay? And we need to just continue shipping arms into eastern Ukraine. Who cares who the arms are going to? What? Asking where these arms are going to, that sounds like Putin propaganda to me. Who cares where they're going to, as long as they're going? As long as there's a non-stop flow of arms going into Ukraine, lining the pockets of American weapons conglomerates and weapons manufacturers and their CEOs and shareholders. That's the only thing that matters. Who cares where the arms are going to? The evil Russians are invading and they need to be... Ivan has to be taught a lesson, okay? But very leftistly. I support this, but from the left, you see. I'm not like these other libs or centrists or right-wing guys, by the way. Simply asking where are these missiles is just Putinism. That's right.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Who cares where they're going to? That's not what's important. Dimitri, thank you so much for the 2 gifted subs. Thank you very much, Dimitri. All this rhetoric reminds me of the Iraq War. It has to be done. Saddam is oppressing his own people. We'll be greeted as liberators. We were invited in by the Iraqis that wanted to be free from they yearned for freedom. And it's going to be the exact same thing in Taiwan. Why are you denying the agency of the people in Taiwan, Rob? They want to be a fucking home base for billions of dollars of Western weapons, okay? It's for their protection, Rob. This one time, the weapons manufacturers are on the right side. Even when the U.S. gloms onto a genuine protest, it almost always to distort it for their own interests. They never do anything for altruistic reasons. They will use anything to pursue their agenda of expanding Western capital. That's it. Get it through your thick skull or never talk politics again. Thank you, Lana. Why is this so hard? This is what I don't get, folks. Why is this so hard for people? It shouldn't be that difficult. Artie. At least wasting time said uncommon, Rob L in this post to my totally non-controversial stance here. At least they didn't say common, Rob L. Are we the baddies? Calm like a Tom. Are we the baddies? If I'm the Imam of Mecca and the USA is fighting the devil, I am on the side of the devil. How fucking hard is it to understand? How hard is it to understand? Here's James's tweet about the Progressive Caucus. Good to see some healthy, open debate on this. People were so mad. People were so mad about this fucking letter. To say, like, maybe we should have some kind of diplomacy in this war. I hate the fact that even suggesting a ceasefire is treated like unconditional surrender for Ukraine. This is where our discourse is. This is where our discourse is at. It's fucking grim. Westerners love Ukraine. That's why they gave them EU jobs with illegally low wages and terrible working conditions. As I've said many times before, overthrowing the Soviet Union and ending the Soviet Union, and Ukraine was Russia's strongest ally in the Soviet Union, destroyed millions of people's lives in Ukraine and Russia and throughout the Soviet Union. Since that time, Ukraine is still, it's 30 years later, Ukraine is still one of the poorest and most corrupt countries in Europe. And we think that this is to protect their precious sovereignty and democracy? Really? The shelling will continue until morale improves. And then you have guys like this. Jamie Raskin, who's a part of this Progressive Caucus, who gets all kinds of like headlines for his January 6th committee grandstanding that he's been doing. Glad the CPC withdrew yesterday's letter. Let's focus on the fundamental importance of the Ukrainian struggle for national sovereignty, democracy, and freedom, and continue to unite America behind this historic imperative. That's what he says. Lo and behold, though, this like unequivocal, we must support their noble struggle for independence with endless arms transfers does not apply to Palestinians. And when Israel engages in this decades-long apartheid project, and when Palestinians do anything to respond to that with violence of their own, this is Raskin's response. Hamas must stop its indiscriminate rocket attacks on the people of Israel now. Like all sovereign states, Israel has a right to defend itself and is bound by international law and humanitarian law to actively protect civilians from harm in doing so. It's weird how this ironclad right of violent self-defense applies to certain people but not other people. And also immediately calling for a ceasefire. And notice how when he talks about this outbreak, this is in May 21, and Gaza is a war zone right now as we speak, so it's not like this is an isolated incident. The outbreak of brutal violence in Israel and Gaza has killed dozens of Israeli and Palestinian civilians, including at least 16 children. Which were the children, though, I would ask? Was it Israeli children that you're talking about in that situation, or is it Palestinian children? Is it both? It kind of seems ambiguous when you put it like that. And wounded hundreds more. That fact compels an immediate ceasefire to save human life and prospects for peace. Weird how there's a different way of looking at these conflicts, isn't it? Depending on who it is. Certain groups have just this unlimited right to not only defend themselves with violence, but to be the beneficiaries of hundreds of billions of dollars of arms transfers. But some groups just don't seem to have this same right, do they? Some groups just don't have this right for whatever reason. Why is that? Kind of funny how that works, isn't it? Imagine if everyone was as gung-ho about sending javelins to Hamas. That's right. And people will just like say completely unironically, well, Rob, these like right sector guys and these Azov guys, there's only a few of them, right? I know that they're bad, but we still have to continue arming them because they're engaged in this noble struggle. You can't say that about Hamas, though, can you? You can't say like, well, I know Hamas does some fucked up shit, but we have to support arming them. They're engaged in this noble struggle, so we have to support it. No, you're not allowed to say that. Then you get framed as being like a Hamas-loving terrorism supporter. But you can go online on Twitch, or you can go on MSNBC or CNN and be like, we must arm these Nazis because they're engaged in this noble struggle. Remember the double think around that? Like, there's so few of them. There's only a few of them. It's like there's a few Nazis in the military establishment, but also they're so integral to Ukraine's struggle for freedom and democracy and sovereignty that we must continue to support them uncritically. It is racism. Yes, it is. Yes. Yes, it is.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all
Nazi
this.
schmatzi, says Werner von Braun. Grove Salt, thank you for the 7 months of tier 1. Liberal acceptance of Nazis over time. Yeah, this is it. I really enjoy Twitter user B-Day Marksman. Like, this is what it's come to, or we've got to get our geopolitical analysis from B-Day Marksman, because no one else is fucking doing their jobs. I love B-Day Marksman. B-Day Marksman actually got in touch with me over my tweet about Ukraine that everyone was mad at, and was like, that was a good tweet. I was like, thank you. So I appreciate them. Liberal ladder of Nazi minimization. There are no Nazis. There are a few Nazis like everywhere else. There were lots of Nazis, but Russia is worse. Or Nazis really that bad? Yeah. A lot of them are moving on to step 4, actually. In March, we were at step 3. We're moving into step 4 now. It is strange that the Christchurch mosque shooter was trained with the Azov battalion as well. Yeah, it is weird. But hey, we can't talk about possible blowback of arming and funding these groups, because that's Putin propaganda. That's Putin propaganda to talk about that. When the inevitable blowback from this happens and Azov launches a missile into Berlin or whatever, I'm going to remember how we just had to arm them to fight that dastardly Putin. And you know what? No one's going to fucking admit that they were wrong about this. None of these people that have been in the chat today, none of the people that have been yelling at me over this, who have been just uncritically supporting the endless arms transfers to these groups, none of them are going to fucking admit that they were wrong over this. This is kind of what kills me the most. They'll be rewarded for their shitty possessions on a personal level, most likely. That is actually a great thing that I wanted to point out. This other tweet that I did over the last couple of days, because of Andrew Coyne. Andrew Coyne says, this is an amazing example of exactly what I'm talking about. This tweet by Andrew Coyne says, pacifists are the objective allies of fascists. I don't know whatever part that is. I can't read those Roman numerals. But here we have Andrew Coyne lecturing us about how pacifists, in this case, are supporting fascism. The fascism understander has logged on, pointing this thing about this someone holding a sign that says Trudeau, Freeland, Anand, and Jolie, stop lying, stop sending weapons, stop NATO, stop the war, peace in Ukraine, peace with Russia, stop the war. Andrew Coyne says these people are just helping fascists.
The last point is that in June...
Can you actually move down? Because in terms of personal space, you're getting a little close to the minister, and that's just...
These fucking these think tank monsters.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
All right, thank you. Stand by, folks, and we'll take a little break.
These fucking ghouls.
And,
So Andrew Coyne says that these pacifists are just the objective allies of fascists. Here's Andrew Coyne in 2003. I was so fucking annoyed by this that I went and dug up this Andrew Coyne column from 2003 from the National Post, from his fucking, like, apparently this position that he can never lose, his huge platform in the National Post from 2003 says PM's decision means moral free ride is over. Here's Andrew Coyne, who's just lecturing us about anti-war people supporting fascism. Here's Andrew Coyne 20 fucking years ago. It says there was reportedly no reaction from the White House on the day that Canada announced it would not participate in the coming war with Iraq. They can hardly have been unaware that the Prime Minister's decision, though Mr. Chrétien did not think to call the President beforehand, someone in his office did think to tip off CNN, which went live with the announcement. But then, what's there to react to? It isn't that the decision was expected or unexpected for that matter. Rather, after so many months of keeping everyone guessing, Mr. Chrétien has achieved what one must imagine was his aim from the start. He's dithered so long that on the very brink of war, no one cares what Canada does. It's not as if Canada could have contributed much in military terms, even had Mr. Chrétien not packed off what remains of our forces to Afghanistan for the duration. Indeed, one possible explanation for Mr. Chrétien's decision not to commit troops to the Iraq campaign is that we weren't asked. What would otherwise be a humiliating snub thereby becomes a principled stand, but our participation, however meager, would have lent the Americans moral support. It would have lent... This is a prominent Canadian liberal journalist, Dakadoon, who loves lecturing everyone about peace, the peace movement and the anti-war movement and supporting fascism. Fucking crying in 2003 that the Canadian government wasn't lending the American government moral support in its brutal, horrific mass murder campaign in Iraq. It goes on though. For this decision signals more than merely the end of the Prime Minister's little game of hide and seek. At a stroke, Mr. Chrétien has effectively achieved the left's leftist Mr. Chrétien, Prime Minister Jean Chrétien of Canada, famous anti-imperialist tanky, has effectively achieved the left's long-held ambition, Canada's withdrawal from NATO. It is a matter of relative unimportance that he has done so just as NATO is about to collapse. Once the president campaign is out of the way, should be a piece of cake, right, Andrew? Should just be no problem. Should be out of the way anytime now. The Americans are going to take stock. They're in a battle they believe for their very survival, a desperate race to snuff out macro-terrorism at its source, in its sponsor states, before it can strike again. They need to know who their real friends are, who they can rely on, who has something to offer. In such a climate, the United States will have little tolerance for the kind of nonsense it once might have been prepared to endure. Whether the decadence and log rolling that has always been the special forte of the United Nations or the near paralysis into which NATO has lately sunk. In the post-Cold War world, and more particularly in a post-September 11th world, does the United States really need to tie itself into a fixed alliance with the likes of Belgium, France, Germany, or Canada? This motherfucker in 2003 is whining and crying that the Canadian government did not get involved in America's brutal, horrific mass murder and torture campaign in Iraq, saying, oh boy, it's going to lead to the collapse of NATO. How did that go? What happened with that, Andrew? What happened with that? And this fucking asshole, Andrew Coyne, who was 100% wrong about this, and has been 100% wrong about every single other foreign involvement or foreign intervention over the last 20 years, still feels like he can fucking lecture us about supporting fascism. What does he say? Pacifists are the objective allies of fascists. He's doing the same fucking thing 20 years later. No consequences for being wrong. No consequences for being wrong about every single foreign intervention over the last 20 fucking years. He's literally whining and crying that Canada didn't get it. The one fucking time, the rare Canadian W, the one time Canada makes an actually okay decision while we're in Afghanistan at the same time. He's whining and crying that we're not also involved in Iraq, lending moral support to the fucking United States government. And 20 years later, he is still the same same huge platform, still making the same tired arguments, still not engaging with any of the fucking arguments that anyone is making that is trying to end this war, that has talked about Canada's involvement, not engaging with any of this, just still whining and crying and lecturing us about pacifism and supporting fascism. This guy that was crying that we weren't supporting the goddamn United States military in the war in Iraq is lecturing us still 20 years later about supporting fascism and pacifism and this bullshit. Our entire media establishment needs to be purged and re-educated. Not joking. Completely unironic belief of mine. The entire media establishment of this country needs to be immediately purged. Starting with Andrew Coyne. Perfect example of Parenti's quote, "You can say what you like because we like what you say." Exactly. And Andrew Coyne loves to lecture other countries about freedom of the press. Big time China watcher, this guy as well. Loves to lecture other countries about our precious freedom of speech and freedom of the press. Andrew Coyne was a big Two Michaels obsessor as well. Yeah, you can say whatever you like, Andrew, because they like what you say. And you can have a high paying important job in media for 20 years despite being fucking wrong about every single thing that you ever talk about. We can give Coyne a nice new job turning big rocks into little rocks. There we go. You can fucking help build the high-speed rail line. You can do something useful for once in your life. We can put you to work building the fucking high-speed rail that's gonna unite, that's gonna bring this country together. You can actually be a useful person for once in your fucking life, Andrew. This is a good post. It's just, it's amazing to me reading that post from 2003, whining and crying that the fucking the anti-NATO, anti-imperialist, tanky government of Jean Chrétien was not getting involved in the fucking United States government's war in Iraq, which had nothing to do with 9/11, which a child could have pointed out at the time. I was a child at the time, and I still pointed it out at the time. That Iraq had nothing to do with 9/11. This guy was whining and crying then about the pacifists keeping us out of the war in Iraq, and he's whining and crying today about pacifists trying to stop war in Ukraine. Take care, Netlock. Thanks for stopping by. So we know for a fact that the CIA considered blowing up a part of Miami and blaming it on Cuba to justify invasion. Now tell me again who I should believe about a dirty bomb in Ukraine. That is the really scary thing, is you've got reports now. Russia is saying we believe that there's going to be a dirty bomb nuke attack in these eastern regions that we control. And at the same time we have Russia is planning a false flag dirty bomb attack. Who the fuck do you think is being more honest in that situation? Just like the people that say Russia blew up their own Nord Stream pipeline. Or what was the latest thing? Russia blew up the bridge to Crimea themselves in a false flag attack. They're going to do the same thing as well. Don't people get tired of being wrong about this? Russia's going to blow up their own regions that they have fought this whole conflict to control. They're going to blow up a dirty bomb in these regions because of their evil orcs, I guess, and nothing matters. Did we ever get to the bottom of Nord Stream? Brandon did say we would find out. They've got their best people looking into it. Again, I think when Ukraine was memeing about it online, they're literally posting memes about it seconds after it happened. That seems to be a pretty good indication that they were perhaps involved, but what do I know, I guess. It's the hot dog man skit. Absolutely. The Crimean Bridge was clearly Ukraine, NATO. The Nord Stream sabotage was clearly them too. I believe there was a Swiss investigation that was sealed. It's not even subtle what's happening here. No, it isn't. No, it is not. And I still have people coming in here in the chat or in my Twitter mentions, giving these folks the benefit of the doubt. Why? Why? Why do these people get the benefit of the doubt? They launched a commemorative postage stamp with the blown up bridge the very next day. But it was a Russian false flag, though. That postage stamp that we released the next day was to celebrate that Russian false flag attack on their own bridge. That's right. Because that NAFO crypto Nazi Dylan Burns told them it was the leftist position. Another guy that was quote tweeting me when I had that tweet about the supporting terrorism. This guy's mad about a bridge. I don't know, folks. I don't know. I feel like I'm crazy sometimes talking about this stuff. I don't think it should be that hard to understand. I really, really do not. I really don't think it should be controversial. Yeah, them saying this Nord Stream attack is terrible, but it's really good for the U.S. That's right. And yeah, Johnny, with the stats that you're pointing out as well. To say that the Russians invaded and ignore the fact that over a quarter of their population is fucking already Russian is mind-boggling. Yes, it is. Actually, what the fuck do people mean by dirty bomb? Like, is that a nuke, or do they mean that they're claiming someone is going to bomb a nuclear plant? I think it means like a nuke, like a suitcase bomb or a truck nuke or something like that. That's my understanding of what that would mean. I hate to use the term gaslighting, but I feel like that's what it is. Yes. And maybe we do need to use that term just so maybe liberals will start to understand what's going on here. An unconventional nuke. A dirty bomb is a nuke that intentionally spreads radioactive material in its blast area. But isn't that all nukes? A nuclear weapon that doesn't explode so much as emit lots of deadly radiation. Oh, good. Great. Less about the explosion itself. Okay, that makes sense. Imposing a fake reality on an entire society seems a bit like gaslighting. Well, remember, it's what the term is, though, is because it's designed to make you feel insane and disoriented. It's it's literally denying observable reality. Like we watched that clip of John McCain and Lindsey Graham literally saying, "We'll arm you to fight the Russians," and you say, "I think the United States and Canada armed these people to fight the Russians," and they say, "How dare you say that Putin propaganda?" You know, it's designed to make you feel like there's something wrong with you, right? That's what makes it not just lying or not just propaganda. It's literally designed to make you question your own sanity, because you're like, am I living in the same reality as the rest of these people? It doesn't seem like we are. It does not seem like we are. Anyway, folks, if you enjoy this stream and you want to support the work that I do and you want to support this stream, you can subscribe. If you want to be immune to propaganda, obviously many people are not, as we've discovered today. But if you want to be immune to propaganda, one thing that you can do is watch this program, TRRS, here on twitch.tv. And if you want to support this program, you can do so by subscribing, which costs $5 per month. You can use your Amazon Prime account to convert to a Twitch gaming account and subscribe totally free of charge. You can gift subscriptions or friend coin. This is how you support this stream. Every little bit helps.
Count on me. You're gonna have a good
and
old
I appreciate it a lot.
to talk you through all this.
It helps keep this show on the air. It helps support the work that I do. If you enjoy this commentary, if you enjoy this content that I do over here on this channel, that's how you support it. Thank you, Plunger Man. Thank you for the 13 months of tier 2 resub. I appreciate that, Plunger Man.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I just realized I looked at the clock and I've been yelling about this for like 2 straight hours. I'm like my throat is sore from like I'm getting all worked up today over this shit. Gen X Bushy, thank you for the gifted sub. I really appreciate all the support, Gen X Bushy. Thank you. Basically what they're saying is not we're going to blow you up with a nuke, but we're going to spread radioactive shit all over the place so that people die from radiation sickness. Okay, good. Very good. Do I have any other takers? The only people for calling for any sort of peace or at least stopping arms to Ukraine are the people on the right. They've already been labeled crazies by the MSN, so then you get lumped in with them. Yeah, or the LaRouchites, or the fucking... It's only these, like, weird right-wingers and cultists that articulate these positions. And every liberal and every anarchist and every social democrat says, like, no, arms transfers. No, we're on the side of the imperialists this time. And then you get lumped in with these completely these lunatics. You cultists, not like this channel. Because as we all know, as everyone knows, the TRRS community is not a cult. It's very specifically not a cult, as has been outlined many times. And the friendship triangle, once again, is two-dimensional. It is a two-dimensional image. It's definitely not a pyramid. No, it is not. I mean, as you can see, we can just take a look quickly. I gift subs because I agree with Rob's opinions willingly. Thank you, Dakadoon. As you can see, it's very clearly two-dimensional. And like, if you're on the outside looking in, like, does this look like a cult to you? Really? It doesn't to me. Speaks for itself, really? Yeah. Don't you want it? Doesn't this look like something you want to join? Doesn't this look like a community you want to be a part of?
Member of the friendship triangle.
Oh goodness, Dakadoon. It literally can't be a pyramid if it's two-dimensional. It's exactly right. That's a law of physics. Dakadoon, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs. Very, very kind of you, and for all the support, Dakadoon. Thank you. Truly an elite member of the non-cult-like friendship triangle community. I did that on my own accord. I know that, Dakadoon. I know that. That's absolutely right. Thank you, Osaku. I'm trying to change hearts and minds on here. I'm really trying. It's tough. You know? It's tough being right all the time. And being persecuted regardless. Yeah, why be a LaRouchite when you can be a Rusite? Exactly. That's exactly right. Thank you. I really do need to take a break. I've been like hooting and hollering today, folks. I've been both hooting and hollering today. I can't stay that much longer. I'm just wondering if there's anything else we could take a look at. Let's see here. Do we have any other takers before I move on from this? Textbooks of the future forced to print the Twitch stream that destroyed NATO. That's right. It was a spicy chat today. Very true. It must have been that Rain Total Body Fuel that I imbibed prior to the stream starting. Less hooting and hollering, more Putin and yelling. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, James. So does anyone else, any other takers, want to support this stream? Want to support this community? 2 generous chatters could get to the sub goal. Not that I care. Not that I care about getting to the sub goal. I don't. And in fact, I think it's distasteful that I have to monetize and commodify these opinions and beliefs. I would rather not have to. I don't even care. You know, frankly, I would rather we didn't get to the sub goal. It makes no difference to me. I'm simply saying that 2 generous chatters could get there if they wanted to. If you, in your own accord, wanted to donate subs to this channel and get to the sub goal and support the community, you can do so. Do I want you to? Do I care if you do? No. No, I don't. No, I don't care. Good. I'm glad that no one took me up on that. Good. I didn't want you to anyway. So, congratulations for doing exactly what I wanted. There is a breakthrough news video, Europe self-destruction for U.S. proxy war in Ukraine. That looks great. It's 55 minutes. I don't think that's going to be happening today because I have to leave in half an hour, probably at the most. Maybe that's something we can take a look at tomorrow. I'm actually going to just go quickly before we move on to the rest of the stream. I'm just going to quickly go to the bathroom. I'm really excited for more people to get those 2-year badges too. There's a couple people close to those 2-year milestone. There's a link to the video. I would definitely like to watch it this week. Yeah, so let me just go for one moment. I'll go to the bathroom. I'll get another drink. I'm very thirsty still. It's another hot day here in Montreal. 23 degrees Celsius in Montreal today. Totally kind of alarm. It's like, it's nice, but it's alarming at the same time. I need to take a little break though because I've been hooting and hollering so much. So just don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to turn this down. This music that's been the theme song that's been playing literally for the last 2.5 hours. And go put on some kind of... I'm just going to leave this on the stream, on the screen, in case anyone, changes their mind about subscribing. Not that I want you to or that I care. I'll just be back in like 5 minutes, okay? And then we'll finish up. We'll finish up for the day.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
God, I fucking love this song. I mean, not just this like SNES version of it, but the song by the Doobie Brothers, What a Fool Believes. It's really just like the fucking best. It's so great. Chin chin, everyone. God, I really enjoy these bubblies. Doobie Brothers are good. That's my spicy take. It's not really it's not that spicy of a take. Although I don't think they ever really. This is by far the best Doobie Brothers song. There's some other decent Doobie Brothers songs. I was being sarcastic. Were you being sarcastic when you say that they're good or that it's spicy? Sean? Answer me. I'm waiting. Hello, Sean. There are some good Doobie Brothers songs that I enjoy, both in the pre-Michael McDonald era and other Michael McDonald era Doobie Brothers songs, but this song is just like so fucking good. I thought it was common knowledge that the Doobie Brothers were alright. Well, you never know with this fucking the weirdos in this community, Sean. You never know. No? Some people don't even care for Avatar. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. And revisionist. Like, let's call it what it is. By the way, Gen X Bushy. Gen X Bushy, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. I really appreciate the 5 gifted subs from Gen X Bushy and all the support. A big time fellow yacht rock enjoyer. I know that. You know, the one thing, you know, it occurred to me to mention this earlier. The one thing I wish I had asked earlier when we talk about, and this goes to anyone that ever says this whole thing about like, Ukraine invited us in. They invited us. They want us there. I will receive my slub clout tomorrow. That's weird that it didn't, if you did something, it didn't show up, Sin Chow. I'll keep my eye open on the activity feed.
You will bounce from
what's this?
Guitar to violin to cello.
What is this? What's playing now?
To dobro to everything.
It's like an interview with one of the Doobie Brothers. We don't need that. But yeah, for anyone that kind of says this about Ukraine, well, they invited us so they could fight the Russians, the evil Russians. I would just ask anyone that kind of unironically repeats that whether they supported the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan, the Soviet war in Afghanistan. If that's your standard, that the government invited the U.S. in, and so it makes everything that's been going on totally okay and legitimate, do they support or did they support the Soviet invasion of Afghanistan in the 80s? Who were invited? They were invited by the socialist government of Afghanistan, the PDPA, a government that wanted to promote literacy, women's rights, socialism, anti-imperialism, that had all these really good values. They invited the Soviets to come and help them from being overthrown. And the CIA and the United States government, of course, infamously pumped billions of dollars worth of weapons and training to these extreme reactionaries in Afghanistan to ensure that didn't happen. So I would wonder who was on the right side of that. These people that are like, oh yeah, Ukraine invited us in, so it makes it okay. Did they support that Soviet invasion of Afghanistan? Or do they say, well, that doesn't count actually because the PDPA were just some Soviet side of the puppet state? And I wonder if people that would hold these two ideas simultaneously understand the contradiction that's at play there. This time things are different. Did the ethnic Russians in the LPR, the DPR invite the US? I don't think they wanted them to be involved at all. I don't think they wanted to be bombed and shelled by US-made weapons at all, actually. It's an interesting question. Have you ever considered that Russia bad? It seems to be the case with a lot of these folks. The enemy is weak. The enemy is literally Hitler. The enemy is subhuman. The enemy is extremely conniving and intelligent. Very troubling. Anyway, folks. I guess we're winding down for the day. This has been a lively one. This has been a lively stream. Very lively. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm still going to stick around for another 15 minutes. I still have confidence that we'll hit that sub goal.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Rob, why haven't you mourned the defeat of our respected leader Boris Johnson yet? Very concerning. I'm starting to think this is not a community of fellow Johnsonites.
Relic, thank you so much for the 8 months of Prime. That was very disappointing. I was really hoping for a Johnson resurgence. You all know that I'm ride or die with Boris. You all know this. You all know this about me. I was very disappointed. I was very upset by this. I want the Johnson, folks. Give me that Johnson. As I was very anti-woman, also very pro-Johnson. That's correct. Extremely pro-Johnson over here. I'm sure given the fucking massive energy crisis the UK is about to undergo, having this like Goldman Sachs billionaire at the helm of the government shouldn't lead to any problems. That should probably be okay. That should probably not be an issue. Excuse me. The left-wing extremist globalist conspiracy has taken BJ down. That's right. Finally, a win for hedge funds. They were just behind the 8 ball so much that it's nice to see them get a win. I'm sure Sunak will be out against it. Britain is up against it. Yeah, and maybe they'll end up with Keir Starmer. As unlikely as that seemed even a few months ago, maybe they'll end up with Keir Starmer. Fortunately, they've purged anyone good from the Labour Party that could have made like an actual, real like political program that could actually help people. Fortunately, they avoided that nightmare scenario, so that they'll end up with this fucking neo-Blairite, bullshit. Best case scenario. Absolute best case scenario. Yay! King Uendo loves this. Big Starmer guy. Big Keir Starmer fan, King Uendo. He's often posting in the Discord server about how much he loves him. We're all familiar with the classic Keir Starmer memes. Oh, King Uendo's got the 2-year badge too. For some reason, I don't see it in my window here, but I see it on the screen. I love that new 2-year badge. It looks great. I doubt it. Starmer is so odious that even now Sunak is pulling at the same approval. I would say just to wait to see what happens with their economic plan, though, and what happens with that. And whoever is holding the reins in the UK or in France or Germany when the winter hits and the massive consequences of uncritically backing the US in this war and cutting themselves off from cheaper sources of energy are going to start to manifest. Whoever's holding the reins is probably not going to be in for the best time, I don't think.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
10,000 sandwiches. Thank you for the 2 gifted subs. I really appreciate that. 10,000 sandwiches. Thank you. Really appreciate all the support. And look at that. We're only 2 subs away from the goal. Not that I care. Not that I think about the sub goal. I don't mind. Like, whether we hit it or we don't hit it makes no difference to me whatsoever. Sometimes it seems like people in the chat enjoy it. You know, I'm whatever you're into, go for it. Doesn't really matter to me all that much, but we are just 2 subs away. Unless climate change somehow gives them a warm winter. I am kind of concerned right now that it's almost November and it's fucking 23 degrees outside. Sub if you support Starmer. Thank you. Looking forward to repeating all of Tony Blair's mistakes. Absolutely. Yeah, you can win the PM race just in time to join USA's war to liberate Taiwan. Perfect. That sounds great. That sounds wonderful. Oh boy. We're in for a pretty wild. If you think the last couple of months has been wild, this fucking winter is going to be crazy, I think. When's the next merch sale? That's a good question. Put some D's on it. They usually have, they have them like every couple of weeks. There's not one right now, but not only is there going to be a new sale, but we're going to do a new merch drop soon. Oh, look at that. There's a sale right now. Look at that. Look at that. There's a TeePublic sale right now at this very moment, folks. If you've been avoiding getting TRRS merch, you can literally do it at cost right now. Huge discounts. T-shirts going for $14 for the next 12 hours. You can get Rousseau Institute of Western Destabilization shirts. Some of the wonderful designs like this one that I'm currently wearing right now. I really got to do a new merch drop as well. We need more designs. I know Marty's working on some stuff. Perhaps when Marty's feeling better from recovering from his precious COVID. I thought we were past this, but okay. Perhaps when Marty's finally finished complaining about COVID, get to work on another merch design. Some Fever Dream designs would be nice. I agree. I have another one, a prospect as well that I need to take a look at. I got someone else working on something. I'll reach out. You want to expand on the Rousseau Institute stuff? That'd be great. I love my Rousseau Institute merch. I genuinely do. My red Rousseau Institute hoodie is so sick. It's one of my favorite hoodies. And my TRRS hoodie, frankly. I don't just pawn this stuff off on you guys. I really enjoy it myself. $36 for this Rousseau Institute hoodie. Wearing the TRRS hoodie right now. It's such a good hoodie. It's great. Fighting inflation with these prices. That's right. I called up TeePublic and I demanded they drop the prices. I demanded that they drop them. And they had to listen to me. Dark Rob. I'm printing out Rousseau Institute cover sheets from my binders of subversive content. Hell yeah. If everyone would just wear TRRS merch, there'd be no inflation. I'm pretty sure that's how that works. Yeah. I am pretty sure that's exactly how that works. I may not have a degree in economics, but as we know, economics are not real, so... Don't forget to turn them inside out for washing in cold water, then hang to dry. That is a good point. My t-shirt is starting to be a little messed up, my TRRS t-shirt. We definitely have to do another merch drop, though. I'm looking forward to getting more merch. Oh, check this out, too. Check this out. The Mo mug. That's right. Just making some thumbnail images. That's right. We Lana's Persian marks. We love that. Persian marks from the Twitter. We need so many purges. Like, let's be real here. Let's be real here. Remember all the complaints about Corbyn and Stalinist purges? Fuck, does this country, our whole media establishment, do we ever need a fucking Stalinist purge? Sometimes. Doesn't it seem like that? Like as a joke? As a joke, like not really, but as a joke? Doesn't it seem like that? And maybe some kind of cultural revolution even? It's like we need a revolution, but not just a political revolution, but like a cultural one, even. Have you seen the Ohio State chair that went viral? No, I did not. I didn't see that, Old Dutch. Disappearing my political opponents to Siberia as a bit. Well, it's like people like Andrew Coyne. It's like we don't want anything bad to happen to them. We can just put them to work doing something good for the first time in their fucking lives. Right? That's not a bad thing. We don't need to like say that that's a bad thing. It doesn't have to be this bad, scary thing. We're helping these people. You know? We're helping them out. Working on a farm is noble work. You're feeding your fellow countrymen. You're building infrastructure that people are going to be able to use for decades. You're part of a glorious project of national rejuvenation. What? Rejuvenation. God damn it. Oh, they just ignore that. No one mentioned anything what I just said. I'm sure I can trust you all to just be mature about this. To anything that just happened. I know that I can trust people in this chat to maturely handle that. If you're bad at punditry, you might be good as a street sweeper. Look at the last Chinese emperor. You know? He was like a fucking janitor and an author. And he was very happy to be that. It's a wonderful story. Someone clip and ship that. No, I don't think we need to do that. No. I disagree, actually, that we should do that. I really like that new sub badge. Changing the subject? Changing the subject. Anyway, I should say goodbye. Again, we are just we're 2 subs away from the goal. Like that seems just so close, doesn't it? Not that I care. No, I don't. I don't care at all. I gotta get going soon, though. What do we got? I'm gonna start talking about our potential raids. Like I'm Al Pacino in Heat. What do we got? What do we got? I'm not clicking on any of these clips. Before we go, I do have something very important to share
You
with you.
can
What's
count
that
on me. You're
HTA?
gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Plunger Man, thank you for the gifted sub. Thank you, Plunger Man. Oh, HTA, come on. Again. Jesus. I tell you, I got no respect. What if I started doing that? We got one more, folks. Let's just get this last one and then I'll be on my way. Right? It's literally just one. There's one more sub. One more to hit the goal. Just looking at who to raid here. There's Sean Vids. We haven't done one of his raids in a while. I've been raiding Dan Simpson a lot. I like Dan's content. Let's not go. We don't need to go too crazy on the Dan Simpson raids.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
DRP, thank you very much. DRP. Ugh. There we go. I really appreciate that gifted sub, DRP50. We hit the goal. Hell yeah! Not that I care. Doesn't really matter to me whether we hit it or we don't hit it. I know it's important to many of you to see the number. You know, and there you go. You did it. I guess. You did it. I'll be back tomorrow. Who am I doing? What are we doing here? We could do the Hassan raid. Maybe do you think we'd get acknowledged? Do you think we'd even get acknowledged? Would anyone even notice? Probably not. Probably not. Oh, good. I can't raid, so. Can't raid. We are unable to raid Sean Vids at this time. Marty! Marty, where are you? I need you. I need you, Marty. I'm sorry about what I said earlier about your movie opinions. I'm sorry, okay? I like your movie opinions. I think they're great. And I enjoy reading them and engaging with them. Twitch.tv has received a complaint from Andrew Coyne about your recent tweet and has temporarily limited some of your account features. Why can't I raid? Why can't I raid people from my own channel? That's my question. That is my question. I guess we're just stuck here. Yeah, I'm typing it right, Dave. Thank you. Good Lord. Trying turning it on and off. I think the other day I had that issue logging on to Twitch. There was that big like issue with people being able to stream and I wasn't able to stream. I think I may have like reset my stream key or something, and I think that may have had some involvement in my issues. I don't know. Eight-hour stream. I'm gonna go get my kid. I have to like leave right now to go pick up my kid from school. I don't know what to do. I tried to ping Marty. Marty's too sick with COVID to come help me raid another channel. Ooh. Oh, I have COVID. Ugh, I can't help you raid. Can you temp mod somebody? Even the other mods can't seem to do it. Ugh, I have COVID. Ugh. Pathetic. Can I raid someone else? Nope. No, I can't. Okay, well, I gotta go. So I guess go and watch whatever stream you want. How about that? Go watch whatever stream you want. No, it's not about following or not following. It literally just like people that I normally raid, and it just says, I get this error message that says you can't raid at this time. I don't know what it is. Okay, well, that's all. Thanks everyone for watching. Talk to you tomorrow. Give my regards to wherever you end up after this. Wherever you end up after this, give them my regards. Unless they're one of my many enemies, then don't. Then just don't mention it. That's all, friends. Talk to you later.